Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of RiesKitchen. Today we're making a Thai classic, Massaman curry. We're going to make it from scratch. It is so worth taking the time and effort. Plus always you can then prove that it is gluten-free. So let's get straight into it. There's a few ingredients, most of which should be in your pantry, but let's go through them, shall we? So first up we have some dried chilies, some shrimp paste, palm sugar, some ground cloves, coriander, cumin, cinnamon and cardamom, garlic and eschalots, ginger or galangal, some lemongrass, beef, I've used chuck, beef stock, coconut milk and a cinnamon stick, tamarind pulp, fish sauce, some cocktail potatoes and roasted peanuts. So the first thing we're going to do is get our meat on because it's going to take a long, slow cook with this cut of meat. But first I want to talk about your lemongrass. So lemongrass, you can see I've already cut it in half. We have the white section, which we're going to use in our paste. But normally you would just throw this bit out, but it adds a wonderful extra flavour element into our stock. So I'm going to throw that into my pot and put my white over there for later. In goes my beef. And this is a commercial stock. If you're lucky enough to have homemade beef stock, absolutely use it. But this is just a commercial stock. And what I want to do is mostly cover that meat. Looks like I might have to add just a touch more water. No, most of my meat is going to be pretty much close to covered. And I'm just going to put the gas on and let that simmer now for about an hour and a half until the meat is absolutely fork tender. Meanwhile, we can get started on our curry paste. So now we're going to start with two of our ingredients for our curry paste. So I've just got some boiling water that I'm going to pour over these dried chilies. And they're going to now steep for about 15 to 20 minutes just to soften. Then we get to our shrimp paste. Now this has a really pungent smell, but this adds such umami into the curry. So we're just going to pop it in some tin foil and wrap it up. And then I'm going to pop it into my dry pan here, and I'm just going to roast it for a minute or two on each side, and that just lifts those flavours and gets that umami started. Pop in there for a minute or two. Turn it over. Now I'm just going to turn it off and leave it sitting in the pan there until we're ready to put our paste together. So now I'm up to starting to make our curry paste. So into my little blender, I'm going to pop my chilies. Now I have to admit I've been a bit of a wimp and I've taken out the majority of the seeds, but they're all now nice and soft. I'm going to put in all of our dried spices and unwrap our little shrimp paste. There, pops in. And I'm going to add probably all up about a tablespoon of water, so I'm just going to add a spludge now. And let's give that a blitz. So I'm just going to check, and that's still looking a bit dry and crumbly. It's not too bad, but I am going to add just a little bit more water because I want it claggier than that. Those spices just smell divine. So just give it another burst. Much better. So now I've got a thick paste, and into that I'm going to add one at a time and blitz well between each. So I've just chopped up my shallots. Then the next firmest thing is the ginger. Now I've peeled and cut that into little bits just to make it easier on my little machine. Again, that's looking pretty good. The aroma coming up is delicious. Now the whites of our lemongrass. And now for our grated up palm sugar. All right, and last but not least, the garlic. That is looking fabulous and ready to go. So our pot's been simmering for about an hour and a half, and let's just have a look. Oh, yum. That looks magnificent. Just going to turn that gas off for a sec. And so the stock has gone rich and thick. Now I'm going to remove the meat and put it aside for a bit, and then I'm going to measure the stock. I want 1.5 cups. If I haven't quite got enough of 1.5 cups, I'm going to add enough water to get it to 1.5 cups. If it's more than 1.5 cups, I'm going to put it back in the pot and just turn the gas up a bit higher just to reduce it down to that 1.5 cups. So let's just take the meat out. I'm probably going to be close to the 1.5 cups just looking at it. It's just breaking up as I'm scooping it out, which is a sign that it's lovely and tender. So now to pop it all together. So turning our gas back on and popping in some oil. So now I'm going to add 3 to 4 tablespoons of our wonderful paste. The rest can go in the fridge for use another day. And I'm just going to fry this up for about 3 minutes until it's really fragrant, which I can tell you is already got those wonderful aromas. So into that pot, I'm now going to add our coconut milk and a cinnamon stick and just give it a quick stir. Just let that come to a simmer for a moment. So I'm going to add our stock back in. Now I did need to add a little bit of water to that today. In goes our tamarind and a tablespoon of fish sauce, and I want that to come just to a very gentle simmer, and then I'm going to pop our potatoes in to cook. Gosh, the aroma's coming off this pot. Just luscious. So I've halved my cocktail potatoes and I'm just going to pop them in the pot. I'm going to cover it again now that that's come to a simmer, and I'm going to cook those for about 7 to 8 minutes so that when I pick them with a fork I know that they're quite tender. We're almost there. As usual, can't wait. So let's check our potatoes. They're still firm, but I can easily get my fork through them, so that's a good start. Now I'm just going to take out our cinnamon stick at this point, and of course the lemongrass that we had in with our beef, and I'm going to pop our beef and any of the juices that are in that bowl in with it and give them a good stir through. And now I need to just simmer this for 4 or 5 minutes, really until the meat warms back through, and then we'll be just about ready to serve. Now for all the details of today's recipe, don't forget to check out my blog at the link below. But as always, the best bit's in the eating. Even though I wimped out a little bit with the seeds of the chilli, there's still a zing in there. It's so complex. Sweet, sour, salty, savoury. This has everything in this dish. I hope your family enjoy it as much as we do. Until next time, everybody. Ciao.